Yeah, hello everyone. Good morning, all of you. So we start with the quote. The true measure of success is how many times you can bounce back from failure. Okay, so in the way of success, nobody just gets success right away. So there will be a number of failures on the way. So how many times you can get back and continue your journey based on that your success rate will be there. So that is the only difference. Many people they stop at one failure or two failures or three failures like that. But the success may be immediately next to that. So without knowing, because we will not have any knowledge, people leave it in between. Okay, only few people they continue till they reach the success. So it depends on how many times you can bounce back from failure. And today is the birthday of. Sorry, it's not that. I missed it actually. I don't know. It changed. Okay, today is the birthday of actually a singer, South Indian singer P. Sushila. This is ninth because I thought I will have to take the class on ninth. So on that day it is called Sagan. He is a very famous uh, astrobiologist and writer and popular science books. He has written Cosmos, one of the famous books, and he is the one person who believes in extraterrestrial intelligence. So he has written books, many books on that. Okay, anyhow, today is the birthday of P. Sushila, one of the South Indian great singer, and she has got so many awards, and she was in Guinness Book of Records and many other records. She has sung more than 50,000 songs in nearly almost all of the Indian languages. Okay, so that is about that. I don't know how I missed that slide. Okay, today, we are going to continue our journey in finite volume method with structured grids. And today we deal with unsteady flows and the simple algorithm. And all these things actually we have studied in finite difference methods. Okay, so here we are applying only for finite volume methods. And when you are applying for finite volume methods, which are for structured grids. Okay, when you are having structured grids, and suppose if you have uniform grid, you will get the same expressions almost similar to finite difference methods. But here, if I have different volumes, how can I deal with? We can understand using this. And if it is unstructured grid also, it is similar concepts. Only thing is the numbering and naming will be different. Here we are using ij, I plus 1j, I minus 1j like that, or east, west, north, and south. But there it will not be like that, right? You will not know which is the neighbor. So that's why the dealing with those links of which is the neighboring point, which is the neighboring triangle, and all those things are to be done by data structures. Okay, but the concepts are similar. Okay, so we'll see first unsteady flow we'll do, and then the simple algorithm. Again, if you see the general Brownian equation, so we will have dou rho phi by dou t del dot rho v phi is equal to del dot gamma rho phi.
Sir, FM can be applied to for both structure and unstructured grids.
Yeah, yeah, for finite volume method for anything. That's why packages are written in finite volume methods. There is no limitation, there is no restriction, and it it is having all the advantages of finite volume method and all the simplicity of finite difference method.
Sir, FDM can only be applied for structure. No?
No, 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 no. FEM and FVM both are integral methods. They can be used for any type of grid, structured, unstructured, anything. Okay,
Sir,
only finite difference
FDM.
method
Yes, sir.
has the limitation of structured grids.
Yes, sir.
And finite volume method can be used both for structured and unstructured. We already have discussed how to use finite volume method for unstructured grids.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are doing with structured grids. Actually, it is simpler than that.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this is the generalized equation we have checked, and if you have one-dimensional equation, so this will be dou of rho phi by dou t plus dou by dou x of rho u phi is equal to d by dx of gamma d by dx. It will be something like this. Okay, so we have seen first how to use it for only conduction equation. Okay, 1D conduction we have done. So we have done this, and there we have considered only this, and all this we have made it 0. Okay, and then we have dealt with convection diffusion. In convection diffusion, we have considered only these two, and this is 0, and I think I don't know whether we considered, but what I
Sir,
want to
this
do
is
is
unsteady flow. So how del LT rho phi 0?
this one.
Okay, sir. Okay. So it is unsteady flow. So how del
Yeah,
LT?
first we have dealt with steady conduction. Okay, so what
Yes,
I
yes,
am
sir.
telling is what we have dealt till now. Okay, at the beginning we have taken
Yes, yes,
only
sir. Yes.
steady conduction, and we have taken only these two terms. So what I want to do is I want you to understand how to deal with each term. So in the first, that is fourth chapter of Vesti, we have considered this term, and we have discussed how to deal with each term. Okay, and then we have considered convection diffusion in the next chapter. Okay, fifth chapter. In that we have seen how to deal with convection term and diffusion term together. So that we have done. And now what we do is we want to see how to deal with unsteady term. So what we do is we take unsteady conduction 1D. Okay, we will consider this particular one, so that I deal with dou of rho phi by dou t is equal to d by dx of gamma d phi by dx.
Sir, conduction and diffusion are same, sir.
No, no, no.
Conduction.
Okay, okay. Okay, if you take temperature, it is diffusion and conduction are same. In energy equation, the diffusion equation is similar to the viscous term in the momentum equation. Is it clear?
Okay, sir.
Normally, we use the term diffusion in momentum equation. We call it as conduction in energy equation. Okay,
Okay, sir.
both are similar due to viscosity, whatever type of behavior it will have. Conduction in heat transfer also will have a similar behavior. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Due to conduction, the heat energy gets diffused. Okay, due to viscosity, the momentum gets diffused uniformly in all directions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's it. Okay, like this. This type of equation we try to deal with. So we'll unsteady flows. So we consider this equation. Okay, so we will have unsteady term and the conduction term and source term. Okay, so when we deal with okay, so I have to again consider the control volume like this, and I have to integrate that. So integral rho c rho t by rho t. Only thing is, here I have time also. I have to integrate not only over the control volume, but also with respect to time. So I will have two things, right? And one is uh, W2E, and another is T2 T plus dt dv dt, like this. Okay, is equal to integral t by dx.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, here how we get rho c. Sir, how we get c rho c
this is
del.
conduction. Conduction equation is this, right? We have learnt in the energy equation the heat transfer. I am taking the heat transfer equation.
Okay, what is c, sir? Then?
This is specific heat. K by rho c is alpha, right? So if I take out this and if it is constant, I will write it. If you want, I will write like this. Okay?
Yes, yes, yes,
Is it okay?
yes, yes, sir.
Something like this we will get. Okay, we will take each term. And if I take this term, and I will write dv is equal to a dx. Okay, so if I take a to be constant everywhere, so the dv can be written as dx. Okay, like this. And here dx will be constant in the time integration, and it will be written as integral t to e plus delta t. Rho c I will take it out, and dou t by dou t, and delta x will come out. This is Hx. And here, so integral of this is t only. So t at t plus delta t minus t of t, like this. So c delta x, and I will write this at because I am writing the at this point p, it will become Tp minus Tp naught, where Tp is temperature at T plus delta T, Tp naught is temperature at T. It is like Tpm plus 1 minus 12 Tpm. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So that is something like that. So this is the way we get the left hand side. And right hand side, if I take this particular term, like this. And so if I integrate with respect to x, so it will become t plus delta t, and d by dx of kt d by dx into dx. So this will become kt t by dx. Integral is this at e minus k dt by dx. That is like this. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And this can be written, so it can be written as ke, and dt by dx at e is te minus tp by delta x. This is just central difference minus kw tp minus tw by delta x w dt. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Like this I will get. Now I have to integrate with respect to time. So how to do that? It is written something like this. Integral of any temperature dt T to T plus delta T. This can be written as it is with respect to temperature, either it can be written as some T minus T naught like this, or it can be, I can give the weightage for the old value and new value. It can be something written as which is theta and minus theta. Yeah, this is written like this. So theta into T my plus 1 minus theta into T naught. It will be written like this. So here it is like based on theta, it can be made explicit or implicit, right? So this is new value, T is new value, T naught I will put here, okay? T naught is the old value. So if theta is equal to 0, right, it will take old value that will become explicit. And if theta equal to 1, this will become 0 and this will be there and it will become implicit. And if I give theta equal to half, it will take weightage of half for the new value and weightage of half for the old value. It will become Crank-Nicolson. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is the way we deal with. Okay, here like this. So integral t to t plus dt, tp dt is equal to theta tp plus 1 minus theta tp naught into delta t. Okay, so this is the way it is integrated. So this is the way. If theta equal to 0, I am taking old value only, which is explicit. If theta equal to 1, I take the new value, it is implicit. If theta equal to half, it is taking the average of new value and the old value, it becomes Crank-Nicolson. So in this way, I write, when I integrate this particular equation, for each temperature, I have to integrate. The K is constant, A is constant, delta X is constant. Only T is varying from with temperature. So integral of TE here, integral TP here, integral TP here, integral TW here. So if you write like that, so theta into this plus 1 minus theta into this with the old values you will get. Is this clear? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
And this is S bar into delta X. Okay, with respect to time, it will not change. It's because it's taken as the average. So it is just S bar into delta X. Okay, this is the way we write. And now once we write all these things, so I try to write this in just the usual form, like APTP is equal to AETV plus AW TW plus B. Okay, this form I will solve. Okay, this form I will write the equation. So if you write that, you are going to get the equation in this particular form: APTP plus AW into this plus A into this, and this is the source term, the remaining term. Okay, so AP, whatever is AP is here, AW, AE, and B is. Okay, this is the way we are going to get. Is everything clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the way. So the exact form of the final discretized equation depends on the value of theta. So if theta is 0, we use only temperatures Tp naught, Tw naught, Te naught, which is explicit. When 0 to 1, the temperatures or new time level are used on both sides of the equation, and the resulting scheme is called implicit. So the extreme case of theta equal to 1 is termed fully implicit. and the case corresponding to theta equal to half is called the Crank-Nicolson. So Crank-Nicolson is also an implicit method only, but not fully implicit. Sometimes we call it as semi-implicit. Okay, and fully implicit when theta equal to 1. Okay, this is the way we write. And here, what happens when I have the explicit scheme and implicit scheme? So if you remember, we are having a stability problem with the explicit scheme. So what happens? So if in this equation, if I put theta equal to 0, okay, I'm going to get this equation in this form. Okay, so when I take it in this particular form, and all these coefficients must be positive, and this particular one, AP naught minus AW plus AE minus SP, this must be greater than 0. Okay, so if this is to be greater, so AP naught minus AW minus AE should be greater than 0. And delta x, if I take to be constant, so this will become AP naught is rho c delta x by delta t. Okay, so rho c delta x by delta t minus AW is k by delta x, AE is k by delta x. So rho c delta x by delta t minus k by delta x minus k by delta x will become 2k by delta x. So this should be greater than 0. Means rho c delta x by delta t should be greater than 2k by delta x.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, where minus SP?
No.
Here-
No. Okay, here, because this is SU plus SP TP delta, like S bar, if you remember, we write S bar is equal to SU plus SP TP, right? So this becomes minus SP. Here I don't have any SP. It is generally it is written. Do you remember S bar we write like this?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So SPTP, when I take it to the left hand side, minus SPTP it will become. That's why here when I considering the stability condition, I am not writing any SP there. Okay, though it is written there, here you don't have any SP. Is it clear? SU is not there, SP is not there. It is just a general equation we have written. Only the whatever exists are AP naught, AW and AE. So AP naught is rho c delta x by delta t. AW
Yes,
and AE are k by delta x. If I substitute them here in this equation, I will get rho c delta x by delta t greater than 2k by delta x. Okay. So if I take k by rho c here, rho c this side, k by rho c, it will become alpha, right? And delta x, if I take this side, it will become delta t less than rho. This is like, what is this actually? The stability condition for explicit method, if you remember, alpha
Yes,
delta t by
alpha by delta x
delta
square
x
less than
whole
half.
square is less than or equal to half. That's what we are, that is delta t is less than or equal to delta x whole square by 2 alpha. Okay, that's what we are getting there. Okay, delta x whole square by 2 alpha. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So same stability condition I will get when theta equal to 0 when it is explicit scheme. And if I have semi-implicit scheme like Crank-Nicolson scheme, if theta equal to 0.5, and if I substitute theta equal to 0.5 in this equation, and if you write, I am going to get this equation. And here if you consider, and if you check the stability, you are going to get delta, that is diffusion number, alpha delta t by delta x whole square less than 1 I will get. And you see here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but for implicit scheme, you will see that it is always positive. It is always positive. Here, AP naught plus AW plus AE I will get. So AP naught is rho c delta t by delta x and plus k by delta x plus k by delta x this is always positive. That's why it is a stable scheme. Okay, unconditionally stable scheme. So this is the way we get. And this can be extended to 2 dimensions and 3 dimensions. So AWTW plus AETE.
Sir,
Yes.
but implicit was for unconditionally stable, no?
Yeah, unconditionally stable. That's why this is always positive. AP0 plus AW plus AE. But previously we got this, suppose explicit if you take AP0 minus AW minus AE I am getting. Is it clear? So
Okay, sir.
this sum should be less than this AP0. Then only this will be positive. But here in implicit, I'm going to get AP0 plus AW plus AE, which are always, all are positive.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why it is always positive and unconditionally stable. Okay, that's what we get. And so this can be extended to 2 dimensions and 3 dimensions. So here AWTW plus AETE is there. And in addition to that, if it is 2D, ANTN plus ASTS will be there. If it is 3D, ABTB plus top and bottom, APTT plus ABTB will be there. Okay, that's all. The all coefficients, this is K by delta X, K by delta X, all are K by delta X only. And AP0 is rho C delta T by delta X only. Okay, similar way you will get here. So this is the way you will get for 3D. And you will get all these things similar way. Is it clear? So here when you integrate it, it will get delta X, and 2D delta X delta Y, and 3D delta X delta Y delta Z. Okay, and for different directions, delta Y delta Z, that is in the X plane, and Y plane, Z plane, like that you will have. And you will get the similar things. Okay, all this AE, AS, AN, AB, AT, all these things like that. Here gamma is nothing but K. Is it clear?
Can you explain the below tables?
This one. This one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, so delta V in 1 dimension is delta X only. Though
Yes,
I
A
call
delta
it as
X.
a volume, yeah, A delta X. And A is constant and it is cancelled. And when I am taking 2D, delta V, I have to take area. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And 3D, delta Y, delta V is volume, whole volume I am taking. But when I am taking AW or AE, okay, so it will become delta Y. And AN and AS, that is like this, it will become delta X.
Sir, I don't
And
understand. Sir.
So if I am taking like this, the volume is nothing but just delta X, right? So if I have 2D, I have like this. Am I right? And
Yes, sir.
in the X direction, if I am taking like this, so the area is this delta Y. If I am taking in the Y direction, this is the area dx. And
Yes,
if
yes,
I
sir.
take 3D, and for if I am taking in this way, I get this area is the volume, like that.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, like that. Okay, so for AW and AE, I will get delta Y delta Z. AN and AS, I get delta X delta Z. Bottom and top, it will get delta X delta Y, like that. So the areas will be different in different directions. Okay, so this is the general way I get for 3D. Okay, this is the way we understand how to deal with an unsteady term. Okay. Then we will see the okay, this is transient convection. If I have unsteady term, convection term, and diffusion term, and we are going to get this way. So we know how to deal with convection term and the convection diffusion equation and unsteady term equation. and so we are going to get this way. This we have already dealt with. And now what we do is we'll take the simple approach. That is, if I take incompressible Navier-Stokes equations. So here we have continuity dou rho by dou t. If I take 2D, I can generalize it to 3D. Dou of rho v by dou y equal to 0. This is continuity. And momentum, x direction. I'm going to get, if I take, okay, I take steady also. Okay, if I take like this, and the dou of rho u square by dou x plus dou of rho u v by dou y is equal to minus dou t by dou x plus mu dou square u by dou x square plus dou square u by dou x. Similarly, y direction dou u v by dou u x plus rho v square y equal to minus 3y plus mu into dx. Okay, like this. Okay, once we have that, so again we take the similar thing, and if because you know how to deal with the conduction term, how to deal with the diffusion term. Even if I have a source, I can that is body force or anything. I know how to deal with the source term. All these things I know. Okay, and so if I write the equation for x momentum, only thing is remember that we use staggered grid. For simple algorithm, I use staggered grid. So what do we mean by staggered grid? So this is P. This is U. Like this. Okay, and this capital P is the grid point where continuity, energy equation, or turbulence equation, all those things are discrete at the point P. But U grid, the point at which I discretize is E. That is, I shift the grid by half grid in the x direction. Okay, so U grid at the point E, it will be discretized, and V grid at the point M, it will be discretized. It is shifted half grid in the upside, okay, north side. So for V, I write the discretization at this point. So what will happen is when I write
Sir,
the
what,
x moment, yes,
sir, what we did in the previous classes, like
yeah,
pressure, we do we can say the staggered grid to make the like
yeah, to make
mm,
checkerboard pattern should not come.
checkerboard pattern, like yes,
Yeah,
sir.
it should not come checkerboard pattern. That's why I am shifting the grids for different things like this. Pressure,
Yes, sir.
the primary grid is used for pressure, even temperature and the other equations. Suppose if you have chemical mass transfer equation or turbulence equation, all those things, they are discretized at this point. But x momentum equation is to be discretized by at I plus half j. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
That is small e. And y momentum equation is to be discretized at I j plus half. That is at small n. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if we do like this, so what happens is we are going to get x momentum equation as some AE UE is equal to sigma ANB UNB plus B.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, I have a confusion. That is,
that's one.
sir, it is possible to get the pressure at capital W is 10 and small w 5, and after P it is 10, and E at E point is 5, after 10. It is possible to get for to the pressure case.
That's what I am telling. The continuity equation or the pressure correction equation, I will solve at this point.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Sir, it is possible or not?
Yeah, right.
The
It is just I am putting
10
ij, I plus 1j, I minus 1j, only those things, right? I take the values at these points.
Okay, but for U and V case, it is not possible to that W point. It is 10, 5, 10, 5. It's not.
I am solving in this staggered grid fashion to avoid checkerboard pattern to be a solution. I am taking this trouble so that there will not be a solution which is a checkerboard pattern as a solution, which is impractical,
Okay, okay, sir.
right?
Okay.
And in x momentum, I will get this plus dou p by dou x. Okay, so that will be like this. I will get. Okay, like this. Okay, minus means okay. Okay, this is actually minus. Okay, so it will become AEUU. I will take the next one. AEUU is equal to sigma ANB UNB.
Sir, I could not understand the pressure. How
Okay,
you
I
have
will
written.
tell you. CP plus PE. Okay. So if I take the delta dou P by dou X at this point, okay, central difference, what will I have? PE minus PP by delta X.
Sir,
Am I right?
but pressure we are solving at
Yeah,
grid point P.
we are solving pressure at capital P. So we are having values at capital P, capital N, capital S, capital W, capital E, like that. I am storing the values at those points. Now I am discretizing U momentum equation at this point. So in the U momentum equation, I have dou P by dou X. So I have to take central difference.
Okay, sir.
And I have the values at these neighboring values points. Okay.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay, I will get like this. And similarly, Y momentum, this is X momentum. And Y momentum equation, when I write AN BN is equal to its neighbors A and B, B and B, plus here minus dou P by dou Y. Okay, so dou P by dou Y, I will get PP minus PN by delta X, delta Y. Okay, like this. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I assume the values. Okay, initialization, I take U star, V star, and P star as the initial values. So if I substitute those values here, I am going to get AE UE star is equal to sigma ANB UNB star plus PP star minus PE star by delta X plus P.
Sir, PN minus PP or PP minus PN, sir?
Okay, you see like this. Okay, this is M, this is capital M, this is P. Okay, So if I want to take at this point, it is like at ij I take, I will take ij plus 1 minus ij minus 1, right? So Pn minus Pp I have to get. Am I right?
Sir, but you have written PP
I have
minus P.
written because it is minus dou P by dou y.
Okay.
Okay. Similarly, for this also, small g, I have to take Pe minus Pp, but because it is minus dou P by dou x, I am writing Pp minus P.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. And similarly, An Vn star is equal to W sigma into Vn star plus Pp star minus Pn star plus B, like this. And these are the momentum equations, discretized momentum equations. Okay, so we are going to solve updated values using the old values. Okay, we use the old values on the right hand side and we get the new value on the left hand side. It is like, this is like n plus 1 and on the right side we write n. Okay, if you want it is explicit way. If you want it to be implicit way, I have to write everything at n plus 1 and bring E and W to this side, right? And then you will get three tri-diagonal matrix type. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So like that, I can make it explicit or implicit or anything. Okay, anyhow, these are the discretized form of the momentum equations. Now, I want to derive the pressure correction equation. So how to do that? So what I will do is, I will subtract this equation from this equation. So it will become AE into UE minus UE star. So U dash is equal to U plus U star, sorry, U minus U star. The corrections are defined like this. U dash is equal to U minus U star. V dash is equal to V minus V star. P dash is equal to P minus P star.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, in the case of x momentum equation, if at P the pressure term and at E the pressure term is both equal, then it will be 0. So,
It will not be equal. No, why it will be equal?
sir, in case of pressure 10 5 10 5, that means at P point it will be 10, and after
Yeah.
that it is, if it
Okay.
is possible, then so
Yeah, yeah.
it will be 0.
See, the adjacent points will be different. P and E are adjacent points. Even if it is checkerboard pattern,
Yes,
right? Alternate values will be same, but side by side values they are different.
sir, I can't understand, please sir,
In checkerboard
draw.
pattern, if you okay, if this is the checkerboard pattern, I am having 10, 5, 10, 5, 10, something like this. Here 20, 10, 20, 10, 20, like this. These are the main grid points. Okay, so here again, uh, maybe I can take something like this. If I take now, okay, if now this is I will take this. I don't know whether which way I have to write. Okay, this is P, this is W, this is V I am taking, right? So these values, this W and E may be same, okay? But at P it will be different. Alternate values will be same, am I right?
Yes sir, yes, yes, yes.
So if I am taking E, this is the point. So I am taking the difference of adjacent points.
Yes sir, yes.
Okay.
Understood, sir.
Okay. So this is the way I get for the momentum equation.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, why it is possible for pressure case 10 5 10 5, but
No,
why
no, no.
not?
It can happen for the velocity also. It can happen to the velocity also. That's why when I'm discretizing the continuity equation, also I will take adjacent points. Okay, here what happens is, okay, when I'm taking continuity equation at this point, okay, when I'm taking at this point, I take the difference between this value and this value, which are adjacent again. U values, okay, again I take adjacent values. Even if it is checkerboard pattern, it will not matter for me. Okay, see here, uh, dou u by dou x, if I take it as ui plus 1 minus ui minus 1 by 2 delta x, right? If it is checkerboard pattern, it is going to be 0. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I am writing this at ij, at I, okay? And if I write this as dou u by dou x uh, at
I plus half, sir.
ij is equal to u I plus half j minus u I minus half j by delta x. The difference between them is delta x only. The difference between them is 2 delta x. Okay, the difference should not be 2 delta x. Checkerboard pattern, if I take alternate points, then I am going to get the same value, but adjacent values will be same. Okay, in dou p by dou x, if I take pi plus 1j minus pi minus 1j by delta 2 delta x, this may become 0 for checkerboard pattern. Now, what I am doing is dou p by dou x, I am taking at I plus half j for x momentum equation. And this is becoming pi plus 1 minus pi by delta x. Is it clear? This is side by side points.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Okay. So when I am taking checkerboard pattern, when I take x momentum equation, the dou p by dou x, it takes adjacent values, which will not be 0 when I have checkerboard pattern. Similarly, when I take continuity equation, when I am discretizing it, I am taking side by side values. If I take this way, these are alternate points. These are side by side points. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. These are momentum equations. And now I want to develop the pressure correction equation from continuity equation. Okay, this is what I want. So for that purpose, what I am doing is this equation I subtract from this equation. So what I am going to get is AE into UE minus UE star, which is UE dash, is equal to sigma ANB UNB dash plus PP dash minus PV dash by delta x. B will become 0. Similarly, AN VN dash is equal to sigma ANB VNB dash plus PP dash minus PN dash by delta y. Yes, no, sorry. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so once I get this, and here the main assumption of simple algorithm is I make this sigma ANB UNB dash to be 0 and sigma ANB VNB dash to be 0. Okay, I neglect this. That is the main assumption I make here. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now what I get is AE UE dash is equal to PP dash minus PE dash by N, AN VN dash is equal to PP dash minus PN dash that is delta X, like this. Okay. And if I write this as UG dash is equal to PP dash minus PE dash into some DE, where DE is uh, this, AE, okay, A is delta X1. Okay, this EI forward, AY forward here, because A is cancelled everywhere, but here A will be there. Okay, here AE will be there. Here A will be there. So DE is equal to AE by AE, like this. And Dn dash is equal to Dn into P2 dash minus Dn dash by A. Like this it will be. And UE dash is equal to, because U dash is U minus U star, I will write it UE is equal to UE star plus DE into PP dash minus PD dash. And Vn is equal to Vn star plus Dn into PP dash minus Pn dash. Like this I will get. So now if I take continuity equation, which is dou u by dou x plus dou v by dou y equal to 0. And if I again integrate this over the volume, right? So I'm going to get this is a dx, dou u by dou x, dx dy, right? Dx dy, okay, it will become so this will become okay. So this will be like this ue minus uw into delta y plus vn minus vs into delta x is equal to 0, like this. Am I clear about this? For this is W2 E, this is S2 N. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here I have to substitute this UE, VN, those things here. If UE is like this, UW will be UW star plus DW into, for W it will be P,
PW minus P.
PW minus P. And similarly, US is, VS is VS star plus DS into PS minus
PS minus P.
PP dash, PS dash minus PP dash, like this. And these things I have to substitute here. So if I substitute, then I'm going to get the pressure correction equation. Okay, so UE is this, and Vn is this, and top surface it will Pp minus Pt like this. And so here, if I take the pressure correction, I am taking steady flow. Okay, so unsteady also no problem. It will be extra expression, and this you will get here. So rho u e right minus rho u w like this, and I substitute those values here. So I'm going to get equation in this form, pressure correction equation. So where all these constants are like this, and all these star values will come into source term like this. B is equal to like this. This is like the continuity equation, which is mass residue, right? If you write and simplify, you will get in this particular form. So this is the pressure correction equation. So once you get this, then we know the simple algorithm. What we have to do is guess the pressure field and velocity field, and solve the momentum equations to obtain U star, V star, and W star. We have seen that momentum equations. So these equations I have to solve to get U star, V star, W star. And solve the pressure correction equation for P dash. Okay, these are the three equations we have to solve. Momentum equation X direction, momentum equation Y direction, and pressure correction equation. So by solving the momentum equations, I update U star and V star. By solving the pressure correction equation, I get P dash. And using the P dash, I update the pressure. P is equal to P star plus P dash. Here we use the relaxation. Okay, this is the relaxation factor. Because these are nonlinear equations, I have to take omega P less than 1. Okay. And so then update U, V, W from the starred values using the velocity correction formula. That is momentum equations. Okay? And solve the discretization equations for other variables. If I have temperature, concentration, turbulence quantities, additional equations if I have to solve them at again the primary grid only. And treat the corrected pressure as guessed pressure. Now whatever P, new P is there, that you have to take it as P star, and again you repeat this till the convergent solution is obtained. Convergence check is based on the value of mass residue B in the pressure correction equation. So this is the mass residue, because this is like dou rho by dou t, dou of rho u by dou x plus dou of rho v by dou f plus dou of rho by w dou z with the star values. So if this becomes 0, then my continuity equation is satisfied, and that is taken to the convergence check. Okay, so this is the way we have already discussed about the same algorithm here also we use. Okay, so this is the way the simple algorithm is. Any questions? And actually later, as I told, again I don't know, I got some modifications are not there. So as I told, this is further improved. So simple algorithm. Which is developed by Spalding and Patankar in around I think 1974 or something like that. And then because that assumption is there, right? So as I told, various upgrades are simple have been made. Okay. So simpler, which we call it as revised. And this is developed by Patankar in 1980. Next, we got what is called as simple C. And this is consistent. This is by Van Dornel and Reisby. Okay. So, and then another thing called as TSO. This is the TSO. Okay, like this, I have discussed about that in the previous class. These are the some updates have come with different types of assumptions instead of that. Okay, but still, if you see the Fluent, which uses simple only. So it is still very good. The only thing is there may be some uh, limitations for that. So each will have its own limitations. The only thing is for some cases, some algorithms will be very good. Okay, so this is the way we got the simple algorithm. I think we'll stop here. Any questions?
Sir, in Fluent we are also having couple. What meant by couples?
Couple means
In
solving a
the
couple. What are the options? So what is that you got?
the solving technique, there we have simple couple. In that way fashion we have.
Okay, I
Uh,
didn't I don't
I
know.
will see once more time and I
Yeah,
will
yeah,
ask
yeah, you will
from.
ask. You ask. Okay, main thing is you understand what is the coupled and uncoupled equation. Suppose energy equation is there. Energy can be coupled or decoupled. In incompressible flow, when you are solving pressure based, right? So temperature equation can be decoupled. But if I have, suppose viscosity present in the momentum equations, which is a function of temperature, which is varying, right? Then the temperature gets coupled to momentum equations. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
I cannot solve momentum equations separately because mu is a variable which depends on temperature, and temperature is to be solved from energy equation.
Okay,
Please
sir.
repeat once last one.
Okay, suppose viscosity is there, and if viscosity is independent of temperature, there is no term in the momentum equation which depends on the temperature. I can solve separately momentum equation, and using those velocities and pressure, I can solve the temperature energy equation. They are decoupled. But if I have viscosity, which is a function of temperature in the momentum equation, mu is not constant, right? I know the value of mu only if I solve the temperature. But temperature is to be solved if I solve the momentum, that is velocities. So then they get coupled. I cannot solve them separately. All of them simultaneously are to be solved. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, stream function vorticity, omega can be solved separately. I don't have any stream function there. Okay, so omega equation is independent. And after solving that psi equation, using that omega, I can solve the psi equation. They are decoupled. If omega is having psi and psi equation is having omega, then they are coupled. Suppose x momentum, y momentum equations, they are coupled. I have rho uv and rho uv in both equations. So they are coupled equations. I cannot solve only x momentum equation and get u, and only a y momentum equation and get v like that. But they are to be solved simultaneously. Am I clear?
But sir,
Yeah.
in the stream function equation, dou square psi by dou x square plus dou square psi by dou y square is equal to minus rho. So they are coming in one equation. So how we can say that it is we can
That's what
solve?
I am telling. See here, I have dou omega by dou t plus u omega x plus v omega y is equal to mu del square omega, something like this, and del square psi is equal to minus. Okay, this depends on omega, but this is independent of psi. Am I clear on?
Yes.
So I can
Understood.
independently solve this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then using that omega, you solve psi.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, we'll have story then, right? So it is something interesting. So this is your old story only, but it is retold like this. Here in Tortoise story, you all people know. and old, new, and its application it is given. Right? So what is the old story? Once upon a time, a tortoise and a hare had an argument about who was faster. So they decided to settle the argument with a race, and they agreed on a route and started off the race. The hare shot ahead, ran briskly for some time, and then seeing that tortoise is very far back and it is far ahead, he thought he would sit under a tree for some time and relax before continuing the race. He sat under the tree and soon fell asleep. The tortoise, plodding on, overtook him and soon finished the race, emerging as the undisputed champ. So the hare woke up and realized that he had lost the race. So the moral of the story is slow and steady wins the race. This is what we have learnt in our childhood days. Okay, now this is retold again with additions. So this is the version of the story that we have all grown up with. But then recently someone told me a more interesting version of this story. It continues. Okay, what happens now? The hare was disappointed at losing the race as he did some defect prevention, root cause analysis. Okay, self-realization. He started contemplating over that why I have lost. He realized that he had lost the race only because he had been overconfident, careless, and lax. If he had not taken things for granted, there is no way the tortoise could have beaten him. So he challenged the tortoise to another race. Now tortoise is more confident that I can win like that. And so tortoise agreed. So this time the hare went all out and ran without stopping from start to finish. And he won by several miles. Okay, so tortoise is very far back and it has already won the race. Okay, this is what happened. If you have a soul searching and if you are conscious and if you know how to, what are your weaknesses and all. Okay, so the moral of the story is fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. Okay, now you cannot say that slow and steady wins the race. I will go slow, I will do the things very slow like that. And then you will be fallen back. Okay, so using that story as a moral, if you start living a slow and steady wins the race, you will be outdated and you will be lost. Okay, so now the present situation, fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. So if you have two people in your organization, one slow, methodical, and reliable, and the other fast and still reliable at what he does, the fast and reliable chop will consistently climb the organizational ladder faster than the slow, methodical chop. So it's good to be slow and steady, but it's better to be fast and reliable. But the story doesn't end there. Okay, so now what happens? The tortoise did some thinking this time. Now they started thinking. Okay, so and realized that there is no way it can beat the hare in a race the way it was currently formatted. In this format, it understood it can never win the race. Then he thought for a while and he started thinking what are his strengths and what are the weaknesses of the other. So he thought for a while and then challenged the hare to another race, but on a slightly different route. The hare agreed. They started off. In keeping with his self-made commitment to be consistently fast, the hare took off and ran at top speed until he came to a broad river. So on the route there is a river. So the tortoise made the route in such a way that there is a river on the way. And the finishing line was a couple of kilometers on the other side of the river. The hare sat there wondering what to do. It doesn't know swimming. And in the meantime, the tortoise trundled along, got into the river, swam to the opposite bank, and continued walking and finished the race. Okay, so whenever you try to compete with others, you cannot compete in everything in everybody with everybody else. So you have to see what are your strengths, right, and others' weaknesses. Like suppose in cricket, so when there is a cricketer there who is very good, a batsman, and the bowler has to see and analyze what is his weakness, and he has to bowl according to that. So people do lot of studies like that on the Tendulkar, Kohli, all those people, and what are their main weaknesses, and they try to play on their weakness. And even tennis also. Suppose somebody is poor in backhand, somebody is poor in just quickly moving like that. So the other opponent will play on that weakness. So you have to know your strengths and others' weaknesses. And the moral of the story, first identify your core competency and then change the playing field to suit your core competency. In an organization, if you are a good speaker, make sure you create opportunities to give presentations that enable the senior management to notice you. If a strength is analysis, make sure you do some sort of research, make a report, and send it upstairs. Working to our strengths will not only get you noticed, but will also create opportunities for growth and advancement. And the story still hasn't ended. So one more phase is there. And the hare and tortoise by this time had become pretty good friends and they did some thinking together. Both realized that the last race could have been run much better. So they decided to do the last race again, but to run as a team this time. They started off, and this time the hare carried the tortoise on her back and it ran. There, the tortoise took over and swam across with hare on his back. On the opposite bank, the hare again carried the tortoise and they reached the finishing line together. They both felt a greater sense of satisfaction than they would felt earlier. Alone, it cannot do faster and good, and the alone hare also cannot do faster and good. So if both of them join together, both the strengths can be used for others' weaknesses so that they, as a team, they can be winners. So the moral of the story is good to be individually brilliant and to have strong core competencies, but unless you are able to work in a team and harness each other's core competencies, you will always perform below par because there will always be situations at which you will do poorly and some other else does well. Teamwork is mainly about situational leadership, letting the person with the relevant core competency for a situation take leadership. There are more lessons to be learned from this story. Okay, so here because it is actually management story, when there is a team, always you have to see the uh, core competences of each person, and you have to see that it is mainly BTech project. If you are doing, one fellow may be good at programming, one fellow may be good at analytical thinking, one fellow may be good at experimental things, and when they join together, they have to use all their uh, expertise. Okay, and here there is a good story is given actually. Okay, I leave it this. It is continued in the same way. And Coca-Cola versus Pepsi story. Okay, small story, very good. When Roberto Guzetta took over as CEO of Coca-Cola in 1980s, he was faced with intense competition from Pepsi that was eating into Coke's growth. Okay, so Pepsi is developing very fast and expanding very fast, but Coca-Cola is finding difficult to compete with the Pepsi. So his executives were Pepsi focused and intent on increasing market share 0.1% at a time. Okay, so it always wanted to compete with the Pepsi. Somehow it has to dominate Pepsi and it sees where the Pepsi is good and at least try to put Coke into that or something like that. Okay, so it is completely Pepsi focused. And this new CEO decided to stop competing against Pepsi and instead compete against the situation of 0.1% growth. So what he has done, he asked his executives what was the average fluid intake of an American per day. The answer was 14 ounces. And what was Coke's share of that? 2 ounces. And then he said Coke needed a larger share of that market. And the competition wasn't Pepsi. Now the competition is, it was water, tea, coffee, milk, and fruit juices that went into remaining 12 ounces. So everybody is taking fluids of 14 ounces. They are taking only 2 ounces of Pepsi, and remaining everything is taken by all the other fluids. So now it is not only Pepsi, it is a competitor, and the water, tea, coffee, milk, fruit juice, all these are competitors each other. And the public should reach for a Coke whenever they felt like drinking something. Right? It should be, if it is available when you want water, coffee, or milk, and if suddenly this is available, you can happy with that. To this end, Coke put up vending machines at every street corner. And sales took a quantum jump, and Pepsi has never quite caught up since. Okay, so what they have done is different vending machines, they are put at various places that wherever you feel thirsty, immediately you can get a Coke. So in that way, they have replaced many of the fluids that people take. Okay, so that's what your focus is to be perfect. Okay, so it's not only competitor you see in general. And I like this story very much. Thank you. To sum up, the story of the hare and tortoise teaches us many things. Chief among them are that Fast and consistent will beat the student study, work to your competencies, and pooling resources and working as a team will always beat individual performers. And never give up when faced with failure. And finally, compete against the situation, not against a rival. Okay, this is more important. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.